Gotham Season 3, Episode 14, The Gentle Art of Making Enemies. Now this, of course, was the winter finale, which I don't remember them doing this in either of the past two seasons, so maybe I just don't remember because I'm stupid, but I do not remember them doing stuff like this where it goes on break, and I was thinking it's winter break, like how schools have winter break after, Christmas break. That's like a week or two. And this was like, yeah, it's coming back in April, which like blew my mind when I saw that. I was like, okay, it's going to be like, we're going to have like a 2-week break or something like that. And it said it wasn't coming back until April. And that was insane to me. I was like, what the F is going to be coming on in between now and April that they have like this huge, chunk in between the time. I guess they just didn't do that many episodes this season, so that's why we have such a big break. But this was a good episode. I can't lie. This is a pretty good episode to go out on. We've only, I think it's it was like the 4th episode coming back from the mid-season finale. So, we didn't have a lot in these past couple episodes, but there was, well, I shouldn't say we didn't have a lot. We definitely did. We had a lot of good stuff for sure. And some of those things actually ended in this episode, one of which being like Edward versus Penguin, and that was really, really well done. Like this whole episode, it's just chaos. We have Jerome coming back, who I asked this question in my last review if people thought he would live or die. Fortunately, he did end up living, and he's just in Arkham now, so we have that character, forever, potentially. So I thought that was great, but what they did with Penguin and Riddler in this episode, I really, really enjoyed. It comes down to it, and, Penguin is like losing his freaking mind. He gets caught by Butch and Tabitha. We haven't seen Butch in quite a while, so I was excited to see him. But they get captured. He gets captured by them and taken to Barbara. And it's like, all right, well, we've done everything we needed to do. At this point, we don't need Nygma anymore. And if you find him, then hey, we kill him, and you basically get to live. And that was supposed to be like the final test at the end of all of this insanity. That was supposed to be it, that Penguin wouldn't be able to love anyone, and that's how he would die. He would die knowing that he could never truly love someone. And I thought that was great, like just the way it goes about. And we find out that they actually aren't working together, because it didn't surprise me. I was like, yeah, that makes sense that they'd end up killing Ed off, because why not? He could potentially just be a problem for them. It makes a lot of sense that they would just kill him off. And it's revealed that they were still working together. That was a part of the whole plan and everything. I love that they brought back the Isabella thing, which I thought was hilarious, because he's like, I killed Isabella, and Barbara's like, I'm pretty sure her name is Isabella, but go on. And I just thought that was really funny. It was like, he could never get her name right for some reason. And they go through this, and he finds out the truth, and he's like, but, I was about to sacrifice myself, which means, I did truly love you. And he's like, I passed the test, right? And for Nygma, it was just like, I don't know what that means. Like, it was hard for him to figure out, like, this is supposed to be like the whole puzzle thing. Although, I guess he had to make that up on the spot, because he was definitely trying to just, melt him with acid, because that's why he set up the whole thing with the ice block, which is also a funny scene when the cop came around. He's like, like, you look familiar, and he tells him he's the mayor, help me out. And he's like, there's a giant vat of acid, and he's like, oh, well, what'd you do? I'm like, what is happening here? And it was just funny. He was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to be killed listening to this moron. But he ends up escaping from that. So I guess Ed had to make up some sort of plan on the fly. Like, all right, well, he escaped that, which I didn't want him to do. But I don't know. Maybe that was a part of the plan. I just thought it was interesting, because it was like, all right, did he go back and he found him? There was no body melting on top of a car or something like that. So I'm assuming he made that up on the fly. And it just didn't work. And it was like, all right, well, I don't know where we go from here. And then we get that ending scene, and it's just like, I wanted to destroy you mentally, and that just didn't seem to work. Like, the final piece of the puzzle just didn't fit. And it was just like, hey, simply put, like, he kind of just broke, Penguin kind of broke it down. It was just like, man, you killed her, I want you killed. That's pretty much it. Like, I tried the puzzle stuff, it wasn't effing playing out, so I'm done. And he just shoots him, and he falls in the water. And it was funny, because when that happened, the first thing I thought was, that's not the first time we saw him fall in the water and he was supposed to be dead, because that was like the first episode when they did that, or the second, where he was supposed to have been killed, and that's kind of when he first left the city and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'm very excited to see where they go with the Penguin stuff because I'm I'm pretty sure they aren't going to kill him. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know if they'll start bringing in some magical elements or what in the world they're going to be doing, but I thought that was a great way to end the episode. And the promo seems really cool where the next episode, when we finally come back to the show, half of it is going to be focused on Ed fully becoming the Riddler, and he's going to actually have the green suit. He even had like a little bowler hat and stuff. So I thought that was really cool, and I'm actually excited for it. I'm curious if they'll give him like a cane or something. But I thought that was really cool for the promo. And the other half is something else that finally came back into the show. It had taken forever for them to do this. But the clone, Bruce Wayne, I think they called him like 5 or something like that. He finally comes back into things, and the Court of Owls is now prepared to actually use him. And not only use this clone, but we find out that the guy who's introduced in this episode, because we've always had Catherine, and it's just her at the top. So we finally get another leader of the Court of Owls, and I believe his name was Frank. And as they're going through, Catherine's like, you know what will happen if he refuses? And I thought they were talking about the clone, because he said he was ready, and then it was like, are you sure about this? And I thought she meant like using the clone and stuff. And then we get a knock on the door with Jim at home, and it's this dude, and it's his uncle, and that blew my mind. And then like as soon as that happened, I was like, actually that makes a lot of sense, because I think it was the episode before the actual mid-season finale, they had that dream sequence with Jim where he's remembering his father, and his father had that ring, and we saw the ring on someone random with the Court of Owls, and it ends up being this guy who's his uncle. So I love that. I thought that was really cool. I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because I forgot they had that connection, because that was just one scene episodes ago that, you know, they did a lot of that in this season where it's like, here's something big, like the clone thing, and then it would be like 5 episodes of nothingness, and then it finally comes back into play. So it's kind of the same with that. And, you know, he still has, you know, this bloodline connection to the Court of Owls, and I can't wait to see what they do with that. I'm very excited. I really like the actor that they chose, because that guy was, I don't remember the actual actor's name, which is really bad, because I see him in everything, but I always call him by a character name, which is Ajax, because he was one of the actors in the Warriors. So that's what I always call him every time I see him. I'm like, oh, that's Ajax. But I like that guy as an actor, and I'm curious to see, well, I mean, it's with the Court of Owls, so he's not going to be doing anything nice. But I am curious to see how they try to use Jim, and if they're going to be really upfront. Like, are they just going to be like, hey, we're this super secret organization. You're meant to be in this because your father was, as am I. So I am very curious how they're going to kind of deliver this information to him, to even try to convince him. They know he's a cop. Maybe that's why he was so confident early on, because he's like, you know, have faith in the GCPD. Maybe that's why he was so confident, because he's like, you know, my nephew's in there, and he's been all over the news, you know, just killing all the bad guys. So maybe that's why he was so confident, like, oh, the GCPD will take care of it and stuff like that. Because I was like, that's a lot of faith in the GCPD. Like, they're like this super secret mega organization. And he's like, you know, don't freak out, just let the cops deal with it. And I was really surprised. I was like, that seems weird that he'd have so much faith just in the cops. But maybe that was a part of it. Like, you know, my nephew's a part of the GCPD, so we have to have faith in them, because, you know, that's just, you know, almost an extension of us, because he's meant to be a part of, you know, the Court of Owls. He's within the bloodline of one of the original families, I guess. So I'm excited to see what they do with that, because that's something they've been holding off on. Another little thing that they did for the Court of Owls was destroy the actual crystal owl, which really surprised me, because they have the scene early on where Jerome threatens him. It's like, you know, it's really nice, it would be a shame. And, you know, of course he drops it and like a piece chips off, and he's like, huh, tougher than I thought. And he throws it back, and it actually shatters that second time. So no one has seen this map. The Court of Owls, of course, I'm assuming they know exactly what it is. Like, otherwise, you know, they wouldn't have it hidden. But they were also kind of looking for it, so I don't know. Like, they know what's on it, they just don't know what, you know, what it specifies, like what the map tells, or it's something that they were looking for, I guess. So no one's actually seen this map, and now it's just gone. And I'm very curious how they're gonna play with that story now, because it just never came back. It wasn't like anything happened. Like as it was falling, they saw like a map for half a second because of the fire, reflecting it or anything. It just shattered, and it was like no one actually saw this map. The owl is gone, unless there's like some secret magical engraving on that wall during that one episode where the map did reflect from the sunlight. Unless it like magically engraved into the wall, no one's seen this map, so I'm very curious how they're gonna go about that storyline now that there's no real catalyst for them, for either side, really finding out where these hidden objects or this one hidden object might be. So very curious how that's supposed to play out now that the crystal owl is destroyed. But they seem to be really going forward with the Court of Owls now that they've had the city fall apart. They've had Jerome. They've even had the Penguin versus Ed stuff. So it was barely a versus. It was just Ed torturing Penguin. But I'm excited to see where they go with the Court of Owls. Of course, the actual story for this episode was really cool. Jerome is just an awesome character, and it was just chaotic. Like, the whole city's in darkness. It's just chaos. It's just madness. And Jerome is like, all right, well, the last thing I really remember wanting to do is kill Bruce Wayne. So I guess I'll do that. And that was pretty much it. He goes to kill him, and they have a great sequence where they're at the house, and it's right before everybody swoops in, and the phone starts ringing. And the phone stops as Alfred is about to pick it up, and he instantly knew something was wrong. He still got hit, but I was like, I love Alfred. Like, in this show, this is the coolest Alfred, and it was just interesting. This is my favorite one. My second favorite is probably from the old Batman animated show, Beware the Batman, the 3D animated show that sadly got canceled. But Alfred in that was like pretty hardcore too. Like, he was shooting at people all the time because he was a slightly younger version, and he still used a lot of his military training. It was kind of like this, and it was pretty cool. And they have Bruce. Bruce was full Batman in this episode. It was very clear what they were doing, and I don't mind it. I thought it was fine. It's some of the more cheesy moments because, like, obviously it's Bruce and he's going to become Batman and stuff. So as cheesy as the show can get, I feel like when they focus on the hardcore Batman stuff, like the "I will not kill" thing, for some reason that's even cheesier to me. And like I said, I personally didn't mind it that much, but it was definitely like, it just feels cheesier for some reason. Like, it makes sense. He does have to have real life experience to make these rules, like him not killing someone or just him training in general. He does have to have real life experiences to have come to the conclusion of, I will be the superhero for the city who will not kill anyone. He has to have those real life experiences, and this was one of them as far as the not killing thing. But it still gets cheesy because it's like super dramatic, and it's not like, in a year or like the next 2 seasons he's going to become Batman. It's like, he will not be Batman in this show unless they seriously carried on that far, which I just don't know if the show would have that many seasons. But it's just kind of funny when they do it that way, because it's almost like he's almost Batman, but really he's not. He's still the 13-year-old kid who has like 10 more years before he becomes, Batman. So that's what makes it kind of funny, because it's like, yeah, it makes a ton of sense, but then they make it super dramatic and stuff, like he's almost there to becoming Batman, but it's like he still has like over a decade before he's there. So it's like, it kind of works, but it's also kind of cheesy. So him, the not killing stuff. He did do good though. He got himself out of those handcuffs in this episode, and he would have been absolutely destroyed. It was a cannonball and then the knives, which I love that Jerome was like, oh, death by 1,000 cuts. Very poetic. I like that. So just all that stuff, I thought was pretty cool, and he's able to escape because of the staples that are put into him. And he goes after Jerome, and they have a cool little sequence. And I love the part where he tackles Jerome, and he's like, what kind of hero tackles somebody in the back? And I just thought that was a really funny line. But it was a good episode, and it was very intense, and Jerome just being crazy. It was fun. It was fun watching him, and just the way they did everything when they like go through the carnival, and there's people like playing the dart game, but it's a woman with a balloon in her mouth, and they're like hitting her in the arm. And the dude in the dunk tank, it was like a piranha pit, and I don't know where they got piranhas from, but he drops him in there, and he gets killed by the piranhas and stuff. And it was just random little crazy stuff. People are on merry-go-rounds and they just have guns to their heads and stuff. And it was just really crazy, and I actually enjoyed those. Like, visually, this is really cool. It's just chaotic, and Jerome just going through, he's super calm, and then sometimes he's crazy. You know, he kills, I think he only killed like one random person. That was during the actual like circus event, and the guy just kept going, and then he just shot him in the back and killed him. It was like, that's him. He's just crazy. He's meant to be the Joker-like character if he doesn't actually become the Joker. And it was really cool. So ultimately, I think this was a really good episode to end things out on. We had a lot of good development. You know, Penguin is sort of dead. Like I said, I'm sure he won't actually be dead. So he's kind of out. The Court of Owls has gone to Jim. They also have the clone ready to take over for Bruce Wayne. Nobody has any potential to figure out this map stuff until they write something brand new, because the Crystal Owl has been broken. You know, there's just a lot to it that we're going to be getting back to once the show comes on again in April. But I thought this was a great way to end it out. Perfect character. Using Jerome, I think, was the perfect way to have any sort of finale, bringing him back to life, and not killing him off. I was really happy about, because that does give us potential to have him again later on. But thought it was a really good episode, a great winter finale. Can't wait to see them come back with Ed as the, full-on Riddler, even with the suit and everything. So I'm very excited for that. We'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I want to know how you guys feel about the ending to this episode. Do you think Penguin is dead? How are they going to bring him back if you don't believe that he's dead? Personally speaking, I feel like there's got to be something. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, they've done a lot of science stuff, but not a lot of magic stuff. So maybe they might introduce that to bring him back to life. Maybe they'll just be like, here's a little drop of Lazarus Pit into the storyline and poof, Penguin's alive again. I don't know, but from the beginning of the series, Penguin was everybody's favorite character, so I just don't think they'll kill him off. And it would just be crazy if they actually did. Plus, I mean, I know they've changed some stuff before, but killing off Penguin is like a huge alteration to the timeline. Like killing off the one dude from last season, one of the mobsters, not that big of a deal, but to kill off like one of the main villains of Batman, while he's young, I just don't see them actually doing that. So somehow he's coming back. I would love to know your predictions for that and what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.